Hate crime bill, what this means to the LGBTQ community.
We begin with team weather coverage for you tonight. Tomorrow is very much an alert day with a severe weather threat very much headed our way.
This is a look at the same storm system in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Dash cam video shows dark clouds and debris flying through the air. Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice is tracking this storm. Chris, what is the timing of this?
I'm thinking mid-mornings when the threats really are going to ramp up across the upstate. Earlier than that in northeast Georgia and the southwest mountains of North Carolina, we have live Super Doppler 4 HD in the alert mode. That means that dangerous weather is either happening or could happen in the near future. In this case, we're talking about tomorrow mid-morning. Heavy rainfall, even a few rumbles of thunder out of this activity as the warm front begins to lift toward the north. Back toward the west, a different story. This is an outbreak of severe weather. We've had tornadoes, we've had strong winds, and right now it's a strong straight line wind of strong storms moving through parts of Alabama right now. As we sleep tonight, that threat is highest from Atlanta Metro westbound. Tomorrow morning it ramps up in northeast Georgia, 7, 8 o'clock, moving into the upstate, and then peaking around 10 o'clock or so. But midday for areas east of Greenville, the southern part of the upstate, south of 85 through the I-77 corridor. It's those areas that will see this line move through during the peak of the day. Let me show you the latest timing on this computer model. We've got some rain during the overnight hours, and it's between 7, 8, and 9 o'clock that this line begins to ramp up and start to race through our area here between those hours. And it's in this that we could have some rotation, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. I've got a brand new computer model to show you here that shows the rotating thunderstorms. I want to map this out here for you and pause it at a couple of key points here between 8, 9, and 10 o'clock. You notice some rotating. It could be brief spin-up tornadoes. This has done well for us in the past. 9, 10 o'clock, you see some brief spin-ups here. That's when we could get our tornado risk and our strong wind risk. After that, it shifts off toward the east. Now, with the threat for severe weather arriving in our area Thursday, we want to make sure we're prepared so that you can protect your family and have all the information you need to stay safe. Meteorologist Cedric Haynes joins us live outside of our studios here in Greenville after he caught up with some emergency management officials.
Hey there, Chris. I'll tell you, that's right. Everyone, the message is
Stay the way it usually would this year. So how about making the day happen again this year?
And a brand new computer model just came in. I'll map out our storm threats minute by minute throughout the day tomorrow to let you know when it arrives and when you can go about your normal activities. Live Super Doppler 4 HD shows some heavier rain moving across the northern parts of the upstate. This as our air mass is beginning to change as warmer, more unstable air works in from the south. A few rumbles of thunder out of that activity as we begin to change. But the main event is back toward the west, and it's this line right here moving through Alabama. As it moves east, it'll bring with it a risk for severe weather, including strong winds and isolated tornadoes. That risk the greatest tonight back toward Alabama and approaching the Atlanta metro area by the sunrise tomorrow. Now, as we go into our area, that threat really ramps up, say, between 7 and 8 o'clock for northeast Georgia, 8 to 10 o'clock in the upstate west of Greenville, and then you go Greenville towards Spartanburg between 10 and noon, lasting to as long as about 2 o'clock. That threat the highest south of 85, and I'll show you why in just a moment. Here are the alert hours that I've highlighted here between 7 and 1 o'clock, showing the highest risk for the strongest storms. Let me show you that brand new computer model that maps it out. We've got some heavier rain setting up shop across I-85 north. And now as we go into the morning hours, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, that's when some rain's going to be moving on in. Some of this could be locally heavy or even a strong to severe storm ramping up. But it's 8:30 or so that you start to see some of these signatures right here. That's when the rotation, greatest instability begins to overlap with this moisture moving on in. And by 9, 10 o'clock, moving through Greenville, Anderson, parts of Abbeville, that's the time frame all across Anderson County, which southern Anderson County in the very high risk for severe weather. South of 85, generally speaking, because of the time frame here, 10, 11 o'clock, the sun is up. We're beginning to get more warm. That's when the threat will be a little bit higher here for those areas as this shifts off toward the east here between 10, 11, 12 o'clock, and that begins to move on into the I-77 corridor after noontime, and that's when the threat really begins to ramp up. We're talking about temperatures being the hottest of the day. And then by 1, 2 o'clock, most of this activity should be out of here. However, going into the early evening hours, we could have one last little round of some rain, maybe even a rumble of thunder. Could give us an isolated rotating storm, but more than likely hail would be the main threat with that. So the tornado ingredients ramp up around 7 o'clock, move across the area. Notice the browns here indicate the highest level of rotation. That's south of 85 around lunchtime here, and then that shifts off toward the I-77 corridor by the afternoon hours. So the 4-day looks like this. We've got an alert day through the day tomorrow, 72 degrees for a high. Be on alert. What you can do right now is have a way to receive those warnings. In these type situations, if you're prepared, you don't have to be scared. You have a way to know where those warnings are. Your cell phone, the WYFF4 mobile app, the TV. And then you need to know where you're going to go when that warning is issued. Where's the safest place in your home or your business? It's the lowest lying level of your home or your business there, away from windows. I have no issues with the forecast Friday and beyond. In fact, we get quite beautiful sunshine, but much cooler air. Saturday, we're at 54 degrees for a high, and that's with a breeze. We do get back to some spring temperatures going into early next week. And in western North Carolina, your severe threat a little bit lower, but certainly some gusty winds, some isolated hail, and even an isolated brief tornado can't be ruled out going into the morning hours tomorrow. More sunshine returns for the weekend and beyond.